Hi folks, this is Jed McCabe of www.bodybuildingalert.com. Welcome to this short video presentation which is called How to Pack on Hard Muscle with Home Workout Routines. Now the first thing I want to say is that you don't need to own a load of expensive hardware in order to build a lot of muscle. The most important approach is to decide which exercises you need to do, and I'll explain those in the next few minutes, and then buy any equipment you need to do them progressively and safely. Now this is very important. In order to get big you need to lift big, and of course lifting a lot of weight does involve some risk. Therefore you need the equipment that will enable you to train the exercise in safety, because if you're always getting injured then you're never going to make any meaningful gains, and of course getting injured it hurts and it's dangerous. So first of all, if you've just got a barbell and some plates, you can do deadlifts. As long as you've got a floor space about 8 square feet, with sound floorboards of course, because you can build up to using a hell of a lot of weight in the deadlift. The squat is the only exercise that approaches the deadlift in terms of the amount of muscle it can build. So in fact, if you just had a barbell and some plates and you just did deadlifts for the next year, concentrating on building the weight up, and keeping your technique solid, you'd be amazed at the difference in your body in a year's time. It really is that effective. I can't speak highly enough about it. Now, still on the subject of deadlifts, if you've got the spare cash, I'd invest in a trap bar. This is a rhombus shaped bar that you stand inside, and this means you can do deadlifts and take a lot of the strain off your lower back, because the weight of the bar is actually going through your body rather than in front of it, so it takes some stress off your backbone. If you can't afford a trap bar, then please don't neglect the deadlift with a straight bar, because it's an excellent exercise, and as I say, only the squat comes near to it in terms of how much muscle it can put onto your body. But if you can afford a trap bar, that's even better. So now let's talk about another piece of kit that can really take you up to the next level, and that is the 4-post power rack, also known as a power cage in the States. These things aren't cheap, I should warn you, but if you can afford a 4-post power rack, then you can really move things up to the next level. A terrific piece of equipment. The reason it's so good is that the power rack enables you to train really intensively and almost in complete safety. I mean, as I say, there is risk in any time you move a lot of weight around, but this makes it as safe as it possibly can be. And training safely, of course, means you can train with consistency, and consistency is probably what most of us recreational bodybuilders lack. If you're chopping and changing routines every 5 minutes, then you're never going to be able to get any consistent results, because you've got to get a new exercise bedded in so that you can then start adding weight to it. So consistency is the key, and safety of course, and a power rack will really help you in that regard. Now inside a power rack you can also train the squat exercise, and as I said earlier, that and the deadlift, they are the two best muscle building exercises ever invented. There's no question about that. I'd be willing to bet money that every top bodybuilder in the world built most of their muscle mass by working hard on squats and deadlifts. So now you'll be able to do both of those exercises. Also inside the power rack you can do the military press. This is the standing barbell press, otherwise known as the military press, and some trainers rate this exercise as a better exercise than the bench press for packing on upper body muscle, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that view. You can certainly build huge shoulders if you do the military press, again with consistency and progressively. In addition to that, most power racks nowadays can be fitted with dipping and chinning units as well. So now you can do the squat, the deadlift, the military press, the dip and the chin. The chin, for example, is known as the upper body squat. It's an incredibly effective way of packing beef onto your upper body. And I can't speak highly enough of it, and the dip is not far behind it either. The dip is a particularly good exercise for building chest muscle, which is a very popular one. So let's now take a look at benches. Now before we go on to choosing a bench, I want to just make a final observation about the power rack. As I say, they're not cheap, but if you can afford one, it'll pay for itself many times over. One tip, if you are concerned about the outlay, is see if you can get a second-hand one, as long as it's solid construction. And failing that, you could use a pair of old-fashioned squat stands. That's an okay substitute. I'm not going to pretend to you that it's as good, but the squat stands can work as a substitute for the power rack. But as I say, if you can afford the power rack, that's number one choice. So now let's look at choosing a bench. And you should realise from this that you can actually build a lot of muscle without even owning a bench. Most people, when they decide they want to train with weights at home, the first thing they do is they go out and buy a bench. Now, really speaking, that shouldn't be top of your list of things to get. If you get the equipment in the order that I've laid out so far, you'll get far better results. And don't forget, of course, you can still be training as you're adding to your gym too. But anyway, as regards choosing a bench, my advice is get the absolute best one that you can afford, because it should last you a lifetime. And something else to look out for is if the bench can be elevated, then do make sure it's not rickety in the elevated position, because a lot of benches are very solid and stable in the flat position, but when they're put in the elevated position, they can be quite rickety, so do test that. So that means that now you can do the bench press as well. So let's pull all this together for you. A quick summary: you can now do the following exercises, I should say, in your home workout routines: deadlift, squat, overhead press, bench press, dip, and chin. If you throw in the calf raise and some abs exercise, then that's really all you should ever need to do for the rest of your life. You can build an absolute ton of muscle on your body using these movements. Now, I'd suggest you split these exercises into two hard, short sessions, ideally not going too much over the hour in length. You don't even need to do all these movements in these exercises. You could use some and then draft other ones in just to, if you fancy a change around. But I would suggest that you make certain that you include either the squat or the deadlift, because those two exercises are real beasts, and they pack on more size than anything else if you can work them hard. So unless you've got a compelling medical reason not to train the squat or the deadlift, definitely include one of those in every routine that you do, and plan your bodybuilding routine around that exercise. Now, for more information, I don't really have the space here because we have to keep these videos under 15 minutes, but if you'd like to learn more, and if you'd like to learn how to train smart in less than 3 hours a week, you might want to check out our free video report, which is called Bodybuilding Basics. It's available now for download at www.bodybuildingalert.com, and believe me, if you follow the advice in that report, you can really take your body to the next level, and you can have some absolutely outstanding results in a few short months. Anyway, this is Jed McCabe of www.bodybuildingalert.com signing off, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.